The DLC has been announced, the Shadow and the Blade. Let's do our customary thing. What we're going to do today is go through the trailer, take a look at what units that we see. I did cheat a little bit. I looked at the Steam page first, so there are some units I can call out a little bit easier rather than guessing what they are. But we're going to go through that Steam page, then we're going to go through the Creative Assembly's FAQ that they launched to give us a better idea of how some of these mechanics play out that we're going to hear about on that Steam page. Well, let's get launching. Let's get going. Let's get doing. And already, look at that sweet black arc. That is exactly the way that you imagine a black arc when you read all the damn books from the Dark Elves. Holy shit. And we're already getting a little taste of that warp grinder action. Look at that. And right here. That warp grinder weapon team going to town. You've got what looks to be a new unit that I was reading about in the Steam page. We'll take a look at that in a second too. Look at them just drilling right through those walls. And we've got some Poison Wind Mortar, another version of the weapon team. So now with the Poison Wind Mortar and with the warp grinder, that fills out the weapons team's special units. Now, the Steam page tells us that there is a Poison Wind Mortar and a Regiment of Renown version. So this one looks to be like a normal green colored one, while this one looks to be the bluish purple. So this probably is the Regiment of Renown version that we're looking directly at. It launches its awesome explosions. Let's take a little scoot back here, because I think I just saw something. I just saw something that I just noticed for the first time, actually. I think I've watched this video 3 times already. I'm freaking out. Okay, that is definitely the Bloodrack Medusa Shrine. Oh, look at this little slender bitch on the right over here. A Bloodrack Medusa I doth see with mine eyes. And Big Daddy Malus just cleaving through people right in the beginning. The Steam page mentioned a Scourgerunner chariot. I didn't see one in the trailer, but I see these like upturned chariots, so I'm assuming that's it. But look at Malus Darkblade just having at foes. The Bloodrack Medusa looking sexual. Oh man. Look how huge she is. And I'll be honest with you, I never imagined her this big in the game. Or just in general. Like reading about it in tabletop, I just figured she was, you know, man size. Like the typical, like, oh, I'm a Gorgon. I'm a man size Gorgon type thing. Nope. Oof. So we get that mirror to Darkblade in Zarkan here. Now we did cover Malus Darkblade in a lore video on him. I'll link that at the end of this video so you guys can see it if you want to learn more about Malus. So they mentioned that they added the Master or the Beast Lord. Well, Master and the Beast Lord for the Dark Elves. I don't know which version this is. My hunch goes towards Master. He's not outfitted like a Beast Lord typically is. Again, we see these special new units that they mentioned in the Steam page. We see Shadowblade just cutting his way through bitches. Oh, look at that shot. Look at those Bloodrack Medusas. These guys were the ones I was mentioning just a little bit earlier. Again, here's this guy that I think it's a master. Like he's got a halberd here. And Malus is going to make out with himself. First time in Total War history. Oh, there's those. Okay. There's the Scourgerunner chariots. So, the 2 chariots of the Dark Elves. We have the Cold One chariot, and we have the Dark Elf, the Dark Horse-led chariot, which is the Scourgerunner chariot. The Cold One chariot is melee-centric versus the Scourgerunner chariot, which is ranged-centric. So, you can see these guys. You'll see them as they kind of run right through here.
All things are possible.
That's so cool. I feel like I'm watching an anime. So, Malus Darkblade has the ability to go Super Saiyan. So, the FESTAG DLC has been announced. The Shadow and the Blade coming out December 12th. A pre-US-based Thanksgiving here coming from Creative Assembly. Let's take a look at some goodies that are inside here, huh? So, looking over at the Steam page, which you can see I was already doing, we can see some fun action here. Some cool pictures. Look at Big Daddy Malus on Spite, which is a smaller than average Cold One. Again, those new units there. They did mention a new Harpy Regiment Renown. That kind of looks like them. They have like cracks all over their body. Those the Warp Grinder. Look at Shadowblade. God, that's so sick. Bloodrock Medusa is just pissed. The new Clan Eshin Sorcerer, more than likely. Yeah, so this is, I definitely think, a master. There's a Scourgerunner chariot. Oh, no, that's looks to be a Cold One chariot. The Medusa Shrine. Another Bloodrock Medusa. Shadowblade going in just dick deep over there. This is bananas. So, two richly themed and unique legendary lords lead their own faction. Malus Darkblade leads Hag Grafe for the Dark Elves, and Deathmaster Snakich leads Clan Eshin for the Skaven. They bring their own faction mechanics, quest chains, legendary items. Lethal chariots and pain-racked Medusas for the sadistic warmongers of Hag Grafe. Cunning stealth magic, warp-infused weapon teams, and deadly covert infantry for the assassin-inspired units of Clan Eshin. So it sounds like a little bit of a twist on the Storm of Chaos list that we got from, the Clan Eshin list that we got from Storm of Chaos. Now, let's see. Unique faction mechanics. In order to counteract his possession by Zarkhan, Malus must continually drink an elixir that slows the demon's influence over his mind. While the elixir is costly to consume, his master Malekith will gladly provide him with a recipe, but only if he helps him in his bid to control the vortex. Despite the obvious danger in allowing the Drinker of Worlds to take control of his mind, there are situations where Malus might benefit from letting the possession overcome him momentarily, greatly amplifying even his legendary viciousness. Okay, so it looks like there's going to be kind of a knife's edge you have to walk between like both possession and like keeping Malus himself. And he does get a special little expedition. So rather than starting in Hag Grafe, you start in Hag Grafe and another location. By the time this video goes up, they'll probably have released what that actual location is. It might be in the FAQ. As I'm going through this portion of it, it's down right now. So I'm going to hard cut to that at the very end of this. It might actually be on that, so we'll see in a bit. But in the opening stages of the campaign, you're faced with a dilemma. So you either get to retain control of Hag Grafe or give up the city for a hefty sum. So that should be pretty interesting. It'll be the first kind of dual starting location that we get in Total War Warhammer, but it's not the first time we get this in a Total War game. If you play Total War Empire, you can see that in, say, for example, anytime you play Dutch, you can start in like India, you can start all the way over in Europe, so you have a lot of diversity. So this will be very interesting to kind of see how this shakes out. And we have a little bit about Zarkhan's Whispers and how you can actually struggle in constant inner fight with the demon, with him to influence him to perform acts of unthinkable slaughter and cruelty. Part of a new mission system, Malus can follow the demon's dark whispers in return for unique and powerful rewards in the form of items, followers, and other treasures. So we get Malus Darkblade, like we obviously know here, right? Unique yet costly ability to transform into the demon Zarkhan, the Drinker of Worlds. This ability refills his health, augments his stats, and significantly alters his abilities in battle. So we'll have to see how that works. It doesn't mention him riding a dragon or anything like that, just his Cold One Spite. So that's probably the limit of his mounts. Because I bet you like Zarkhan's probably going to be so strong that putting him on a dragon and having him do his dragon thing or his Zarkhan thing would probably be just disgusting. So it sounds like he's just going to be on Spite himself. Our generic lord is the Beastmaster, like I was saying. Again, I did cheat. I did look at this before I started talking about the video. So the Beastmasters, in particular, Beastmasters have considerable anti-large capabilities, making them a powerful tool when facing enemies that bring numerous large units to the battle. So we'll have to see how experts of bending beasts and animals, beasts and animals to their will works. We'll have to see if that actually includes any abilities or stat bonuses to them. Dark Elf Masters are your hero class, so you're basically your mirror to a High Elf noble. So adept with both spear and shield, these heroes are capable of inflicting great damage to large targets, but also are capable of soaking up the most gruesome of blows thanks to their high melee defense and guardian ability. Ooh! So it sounds like, so with a noble, we have them wielding a halberd with no shield. So the master will get a halberd with a shield. So I'm assuming that, or I'm sorry, spear with a shield. I'm assuming that means that they'll have less weapon strength and or melee attack and higher melee defense and or armor than their noble counterpart. So the Scourgerunner chariot we were talking about, equipped with powerful harpoons. They are dedicated monster hunting, capable of bringing down even the mightiest of beasts. The Bloodrack Medusa. So it's cool to see, we're going to see both the Bloodrack Shrine and the Bloodrack Medusa itself. So let's see here. These writhing, horrid monsters are best positioned behind the front line to maximize their powerful range attacks to decimate foes. However, they can match their range skill with ruthless melee capabilities, giving them a useful hybrid role. So it kind of sounds like they're like the Sepulchre Knights of Tomb Kings, where they've got like a limited range capability, but are still really strong in combat. That's kind of an interesting take on them. I really like that. It's a little bit, it's pretty rich. I want to see how they do, though, the ability to essentially turn things to stone. I want to see how their like death stare works. Because the Bloodrack Shrine, this is going to be, so in tabletop it was a dual kit, right? You had the Shrine of Cain, or you had this Bloodrack Shrine. So you get the passive Aura of Agony, the Aura of Arger, woof, inspiring and demoralizing foes. The Medusa of Riding has a greater vantage point from her which to cast her deadly gaze. Ooh-hoo. So the Bloodrack Medusa gets a Regiment of Renown with special abilities here. A damaging area of effect ability which tears apart enemy units in a radius around her. Ravagers of Rakarth. Okay, Rakarth is the Beastmaster lore that we talked about, might be an option for this DLC. So it's interesting to see that he is not going to be in the DLC, but instead a mention will be here with the Ravagers of Rakarth, the Scourgerunner Chariot Regiment Renown. Anti-large, additionally armed with barbed nets that slow enemies down. Okay, all right. I kind of like where that's going. Can't wait to see how that kind of plays itself out. The Crows of Cain, Harpies Regiment Renown, which is interesting because they're not added to this DLC, but they're going to do a ROR on them. So that might be a new trend going forward. Regeneration ability, increasing their survivability and causing terror. Okay, that's probably, they're probably going to be very inexpensive, like 900, 950 points. And if they regenerate and cause terror, that might actually make them worth it, because then you can have a really cheap terror-causing unit that can harass backline and also regenerate when they invariably flee like Harpies always do. Well, let's take a look here. We got Deathmaster Snick. So his shadow dealings, basically it sounds like the ability to use hero actions with 100% success across the campaign map. But it says like you can steal money, spy, incite rebellions, and assassinations. That's pretty crazy. Also, we have Greater Clan Contracts. These clan contracts allow Clan Eshin to receive money, food, and increased reputation with the issuing clans, thus granting bonuses and reducing the cost of Greater Clan specialized units. I really like that. I like how that works. That plays so heavily into exactly how the lore for Clan Eshin works. They're all about doing things to then be rewarded with units, so on and so forth, Warpstone. Clan Eshin plies their trade of assassination as a form of currency, and I really, really enjoy that they kind of brought that into their campaign. Whew. So Snick himself can instantly reduce a target's armor by 50% because he has his lovely Weeping Blades. We already see these on Death Runners, but it's cool to see them on him here. He has a Vanguard deployment and stock abilities, further cementing his role as a foremost Master Assassin of the Skaven. And to be expected, Master Assassin, Generic Lord. Same abilities, I would assume. Yep, Vanguard, stock, concealment bombs. Okay, to be expected there. Now here's a cool little ditty. The Eshin Sorcerer with a new Lore of Stealth. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more fleshing out on that in the days to come. But this sounds like a brand new kind of addition to the Skaven. And hopefully we'll have a lot of really fun abilities. This magic lore has a focus on sneakiness and controlling the battlefield, meaning they can dictate the tempo and flow of the battle to their advantage. So I'm stoked to see that. So this is probably the new unit that I'm pretty sure that we saw, the Eshin Triad. Only the most devout apprentice assassins ascend to the rank of Triad. Now, in the Storm of Chaos, Triad were 3 Master Assassins. They were an HQ choice. So here, or I'm sorry, a Lord choice. So here, we're clearly seeing something a little bit different. They're a little bit of a stopgap between Clan Rats and Storm Vermin. And they seem to obviously have a pole arm of sorts, obviously. So it looks like they're going to be focused more on anti-large, maybe AP on here. Their armor isn't strongest. They make up for it with their Vanguard and stock abilities. Interestingly enough, the abilities which enhance their sneakiness and on the battlefield. So I'm really curious to see what their stats are compared to Clan Rats and Storm Vermin, and if they have AP, and what their anti-large ability is. Is it an 8, 10, 12? What is it going to be? So Poison Wind Mortars, we saw these guys. They're basically just going to be your mobile platform of artillery launching globs of Poison Wind Mortar shells downrange. Basically like a mobile platform for a Poison Claw catapult. Now, Warp Grinder Weapon Team. Now, this is interesting. I wouldn't think that they would have put these in the game as a unit. I thought they would have only put them in as like maybe a siege mechanic. But looks like they can drill into the ground and do damage around them. So once they tie down their enemies with tremor effects, the drills can pierce the toughest of armors. So it looks like they have a high AP value on their drill itself, provided the team can get within range. This unit can destroy settlement walls, running stone asunder with scant regard for friend or foe. They kind of have a dual purpose, obviously. They have the ability to use a tremor effect to slow things down, but also just break through walls. Now the Avalanche Mortar is probably that Death Globe Mortar, or I'm sorry, the Poison Wind Mortar that we saw, but they're calling it a Death Globe Mortar, Regiment of Renown. And what I like about it is it has that really cool effect that we get when we look at the Ushabti Grepa Regiment Renown. Mid-air explosion and inflicts devastating AP damage. That's going to be pretty brutal to see how it kind of pans out. Like, what kind of AP damage is that? How fast does it melt a unit? Death Globe Globadiers themselves have a very weird little niche in that their limited range can kind of make their usefulness a little, well, limited. And hopefully the Avalanche Mortar will kind of take that awesome ability from the Death Globe Mortar, or Globadiers, and make it even more awesome. The Vistrin's Death Squad are a new unit of Regiment Renowned Death Runners. Let's see here. Units capable of outputting great amounts of armor-piercing damage with their trusty Weeping Blades, as well as making use of their elite combat agility in order to become even harder for the enemy to hit and return. That probably sounds like some sort of physical resistance buff, much in the same way that we get with Witch Elves. They have their innate dodge ability, which gives them some sort of physical resistance. Now, Ishka's Triads are your Eshin Triad Regiment Renowned here, and they have anti-large capabilities, summon a decoy of themselves, so much like what we get with Alethanar, making them ideal for deceiving the enemy while both attacking and retreating. But that is the Steam page. Let's jump on over to the FAQ. Okay, now since I haven't actually read this, we're gonna go through this together. But the one thing that I want to jump to immediately, boom! What is the next free content that will be released alongside the DLC? The Shadow and the Blade will be accompanied by the release of the free LC Legendary Lord for Bretonia, Repanse de Lyonesse. More information will be provided soon. Whew! Man, I didn't see that coming at all. I thought, oh yeah, it's gonna be like Rackard, or it's gonna be like Throt, just totally fucking off base there. So we're gonna see Repanse de Lyonesse. So Repanse is basically the Joan of Arc clone in the Warhammer world. I'm gonna have a lore video coming out on her on Friday, so be on the lookout for that if you want to learn more about this hero of both. The main city of Bretonia that is just not Corona. My brain's just shit right now. And also like kind of like this errantry war or hero. So there's a lot of really cool lore behind Repanse. So we'll go into that in due time. But I wanted to jump into that first and foremost because it is hot and exciting. So really, there's not much here to really dive into. Majority of it is on the Steam page. It looks to be the 12th is when we'll see the DLC. There's a 10% discount if you pre-purchase. Just as a heads up, guys, I will be providing a link to Fanatical Games for you to purchase the game through there, like an affiliate link for me. So I will get a cut of that as like kind of a cool, hey, if you're going to buy the game anyway, it doesn't cost you anymore. I get some money out of it. I don't think Fanatical has it up just yet. By the time this video goes up, maybe they will, and I will put a link in the description and in the comments section. So you can go ahead and check that out if you want to go through Fanatical. They give you a Steam key, so you will have it on Steam regardless. But if you feel like supporting the channel and you don't want to, and you're going to buy the DLC anyway, it's a great way to support the channel. But let's see here. So we're going to have them both in Eye of Vortex and Campaign. We didn't get, unfortunately, any reveal on where those locations are. The new units are, of course, covered in the Steam page. What new mechanics will Malus bring? Malus will bring the following brand new mechanics. His possession mechanic, which we went over. The Darkblade's Expedition, which we went over. So hopefully this does something for Black Arcs. You know, supported by a Black Arc on the other side of the world. They mentioned that they want to go back into Black Arcs and retouch on them and revamp them. So I'm hoping that this is that big overhaul. I'd love to see, like, the Black Arc overhaul, but also or mostly, that this affects Lokir Felhard. I would love for him to have a real true fun Black Arc mechanic behind him. Now, do you have to transform abilities in game? Will you be revisiting transformation of Kadon? We did consider this, however, transformations are permanent in battle. We were not confident that losing a lore beast caster for a feral manticore was a good trade-off that fit within the current meta of the game, and so decided to maintain the current implementation of that spell. I agree with that 100%. Next section will be the following brand new mechanics. Okay, we went over these. Will there be an old world update released for the Shadow of the Blade? As we mentioned back in the latest update, we will not be releasing an old world update. However, we'll have a patch which will provide information on closer to release. Okay. They did say this is going to be a big quality of life focused patch, so I'm hoping that we get some really cool fun action out of that. Maybe some overhauls to UI, to diplomacy, heaven forbid, and turn times for Mortal Empires, but I think we've been asking that for way too long now. What's the free content? Okay, we just went over that. When will the free content be available? Same date. All right, so that covers everything for our launch of Total War Warhammer 2, the Shadow and the Blade FAQ DLC announcement, FESTAG DLC, whatever the fuck this is. But I am so fired up here today, guys. Obviously, more information is going to come out as the day goes on. Feel free to comment below, link to that information. All links do get immediately marked for spam, so I'll approve them once I take a look at the comment section every so often. But anything that I find that I update, any links you guys provide, I'll try to put in a master first pinned comment on the video itself. And I'll also link to the video on Malus Darkblade and on Deathmaster Snitch that I did that showcases their lore if you want to know a little bit more about these guys. But guys, I'm so stoked to dive in on the Shadow and the Blade coming out December 12th. We'll probably have plenty of fun stuff coming in the days to come here, as I'm sure we'll do some sort of early access shenanigans. And that's a good question. What should I do? I guess we'll start a poll of which lord we should do for the campaign here. But again, we're going to be having a lore video on Friday. We're going to have a lot of fun planned here for you guys. But I'm stoked. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon.